Alright, just about time to get started here. Had some trouble with the webcam, so I had to re-enable it. It's giving me some attitude today. All right, time to get to work here. So, all right, where we last left off, I was working on the ice tower, as well as this map here, and it was pretty effective. We also tweaked the ice enemies. So let's recap real quick so I can refresh my own memory. We made it to Thursday night, people. It's Thursday night tonight, so the weekend is just around the corner, which is great for anyone not working weekends. Alright, so here's where we left off. The enemies are going to come in from the top right. They're going to loop around and come to where this little light is. When they're within range of any tower besides the flame tower, they're going to freeze it. So this tower freezes enemies, and enemies can also freeze it. So when they come in, they have a blue aura around them. And then this is supposed to trigger blue, but it's not. So at the moment, I do need to fix that. It should give us a blue indicator to show that it's been frozen, which it has been right now. This one's going to continue to fire because it's too hot to get frozen. This one's out of range, so now it can it can go back to shooting. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do today is first I'm gonna fix this indicator, so let me just get right to it. Hopefully everyone's having a good day so far. Need to go to the ice tower. What do I call that? Towerhead Holy. That needs to be renamed to match my naming convention. I don't want to break my own rules here. So, head ice. Search. Okay. I need to find where the enemy is within range. So this is actually going to be not the enemy itself. It's actually going to be that radius around the enemy. So that would be... Let me check what that's named. That would be under enemies. Enemy ice cloud radius. Okay, so right here, if tower base is in collision with the ice cloud radius, it is supposed to change the tint to blue. Tower base is in collision. Change the base to blue. So that's interesting. The tower base is not a group, it's a single object with multiple animations. This thing right here. So the ice tower is simply the tower base animation number 8. So I wonder why it's not actually tinting to blue. Let me test with a couple other tower animations and see if they're also having the same issue. I think that the base tower animation is not having an issue. So this one here should turn blue. Let me just place a few of these. So that one I'll leave as original. Then let's try, oh, I don't know, the Earth Tower. I guess we can try the Blood Tower and then the Holy Tower. Hopefully none of these kill the enemies. So, okay, that's not turning blue. It looks like it's a generic issue, so it's not tower specific. Hey, how you doing this evening? Now I got your name, I pronounced your name wrong last time. You said it was something that game devs always get wrong. What's your phonetic pronunciation? Because I pronounced it E-Nick. And welcome back, by the way. Need to fix something here on my chat too. Move this over here. There we go. What is going on here? Got to re-sign in and everything. Does anyone have any plans for the weekend coming up? Hopefully chilling or doing something fun. Got to re-sign into Google every time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The stream and the chat wasn't working. It just now came through, though. I'm working on it here. Yeah, chat seems to be working now. Modifying Minecraft packs. Okay, so if the tower base is in collision with enemy ice cloud radius, I told it to change the tint. So tower base, and then if the tower base is not in collision, it should change the tint back to basic. So what changed? Let me see how many occurrences of enemy ice cloud I have. Seven. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so very interesting. I'm wondering now. Let me look at the debugger, and I'm going to look at the variable for the towers. And what I might need to do is actually add a Boolean to indicate whether the tower is actually frozen. Let me see if I have anything for that. You're back. It's still not working. What's the problem? I can see your chat coming through on my end. Oh, I see what you're saying here. Hold on a second. 1 second. That should be better. Now we got it on the screen. Yeah, thanks for that. I had scheduled I scheduled a future stream, and then I accidentally set it for the exact same time as tonight. So I had two going on at the same time. It's been a long day, but I'm just happy to be here. So what kind of Minecraft packs are you working on? Like texture packs or mod packs? I did some texture packs back in the day. Yeah, it's still a bit laggy. I'm sorry about that. I'm located in US Central Zone, so I don't know how far away that would be from you. Alright, so what I'm doing here is looking at the towers, and I need to find the reason they're not changing the tint to blue whenever they're frozen. So I'm going to call in these enemies. So right there, that tower should be frozen and that one should not be. So let me refresh the console here. Texture packs, 3D whatever packs, animated texture packs. Yeah, sounds like everything pretty much. Man, I was just... Oh, you live in Mexico. Nice. Did you get any of that hurricane rain where you are? Or I guess it was more of a tropical storm when it went through the Gulf. I don't know. I think it's all the way up in northern Mississippi by now. I was listening to some Minecraft music earlier today. I'm not even going to lie. While I was working. Pretty peaceful. Okay, I'm looking for tower base. It should be up here near the top. So right here I've got two of them. If I scroll this over to the side, I can look at the variables, and I'm looking for... I have the variable frozen is true on that one and false on the other. So the Booleans are accurate. So the one that's true is tower number 180, which is this one. So I need to figure out why it's not indicating as blue. Oh, you were sleeping when it happened? Nice. You modify the bedrock packs. Man, it's been a while since I played. I need to get back into it. It's pretty cool, though. How long have you modified Minecraft? I think Minecraft mods... oh, you found a neat one? I think Minecraft mods were my, like, maybe second step into game development. I think I did some Game Maker back when it was really new. And then I did a little bit of Minecraft stuff. It's a gateway. Oh, nice. It adds heartbeat and heavy breathing when you're about to die. Oh, well, good job. It sounds like you've come a long way for just a year. You might get addicted to game dev. Do you do any other game development? All right, and again, so on this tower, I'm going to figure out. So the Boolean for frozen is accurate. So I'm wondering if there's an issue with the tinting itself. It was previously working, and then I changed something yesterday which must have disabled it. Roblox. Use some Roblox stuff. Let me see about... let me search tower base in here. It's going to be a lot to click through. 84 results. Oh, right on. It's always fun working on projects, isn't it? Kind of gets your creative mind going. Oh no, your laptop ran out. I hate that. Yeah, I used to use a laptop as my main computer, and I cycled through so many laptops over the years. It's always frustrating. I understand your pain. The battery is usually the first thing to go. First the battery and then your sanity. Alright, so I'm looking right now for any occurrence of the tower base and the tint. So one other place the tint might change is whenever we're trying to build a tower. Actually, when would it change? It would be whenever... Actually, now I'm not convinced it does change. I think the only other thing that changes is the indicator, which is the thing at the cursor. So this cursor turns red, but I don't think anything else changes the color of the tower after it's built. Oh, right there it does. It turns green if you hover over it when you're able to do an upgrade. So let me search that. So that should be when we are upgrading. So let me search upgrade. Upgrade a tower right here. Oh, nice. Turn the Minecraft boat into Lightning McQueen. That is so dope. Oh, man. Are you gonna add, you gotta add like some super speed to the boat now or something. That's pretty cool. So you're kind of keeping it true to the original Minecraft look. If that's true, then it's probably easier on performance too, because I know some of those high-resolution textures require quite a bit more computing power. If you're running like a 128-bit texture pack or something. All right, I think I know where to look for this. So I'm going to scroll up. This would be, I'll tell you what, let me search cursor. So if the cursor is on the tower base, it's going to draw that radius. Search again. Let's go up. I think it's pretty hilarious turning a boat into Lightning McQueen, because those boats, I mean, I guess Minecraft boats are kind of fast for a boat. They feel fast for a boat, so it kind of makes sense. But normally boats are slow, and Lightning McQueen is obviously not slow, so I think it's hilarious. You ported some Java packs to Bedrock as well. That's pretty cool. Do you are you savvy with Java in general? I am struggling to find what I'm looking for here. So I'm going to search 02550, which is green. And here, this is why I was struggling. So it was collapsed. So the only other thing I think that changes the color of the tower base is right here. If the cursor is on it, and you're not currently trying to build a new tower, and you have enough currency to upgrade the tower, then it changes to green. And then if the cursor is not on the tower base, change the tint of the tower base to white. Now I feel like this should be something I can optimize as well, because it seems like it's going to be running that every single frame. So I'm going to add a little comment here. I'll come back and optimize this. But I'm not going to optimize it right now. Too lazy for that. Have stuff to get done. All right, so let me save that. Oh, I gotcha. No, I mean, just whatever gets the job done. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. So if you found a way to do your mods, keep going with it. It's pretty cool. Do you is your work like available on a portal or your YouTube page or anything? Okay, so if the cursor or touch is not on the tower, so I think I'm going to try this. This might be the conflicting event right here. It's trying to change the tint back to normal. So I'm going to also add the condition, if the cursor is not on the tower and the tower base variable frozen is false, then change it to white. Let's give that a shot. Dude, there we go. We got it. Problem solved. They are turning blue. All except the fire tower, which is correct. And the moon tower's even working. Except it's not turning blue. Hey, that's cool, man. like I said, that was one of my first kind of steps into game development anyway. And since there's so much publicly available information on it, and it's been around for a while, and you found a way to do it without even having to learn Java directly. That's why it's so pretty awesome. Obviously, it's open source. It makes it very easy to get into. I think that's really cool. One time, as a joke, I built some blocks for a Minecraft texture, and I made them stone, and I put my little brother's faces into the blocks, so it was like really creepy. You would go down into a cavern, and the entire cavern would just be mixes of these two faces in stone. All right, so we got that. Let me go down to the moon tower. It's acting kind of goofy. And then after that, I'm going to move over to... I have a couple of things on the agenda. I want to build an ice block to encapsulate my towers when they're frozen. Right now, they're just turning blue. And then if I can manage that. If not, the other thing I'm going to do tonight is add... I'm going to add kind of a UI pop-up indicator whenever you click on an enemy to show its stats. So, because that's going to be helpful for both kind of debugging on the fly as well as an end user experience as well. The water, if you're talking about the water tower, I didn't make any real changes to that one since last time, but I think it's still looking all right. Let me pull that up for you. I didn't fix the water pooling reflection yet. I haven't gotten back into that. But for the water tower, in fact, I think I need to summon some medium enemies for that one to fire off. Yeah, let me go back up. We can update this real quick. That does remind me, I need to make a note of something here. I need to add targeting. So the towers need to target all enemies. Because right now I took a shortcut for testing and had them target just a couple enemy types. So have I changed the texture of the drops? No, I haven't done that either. Once I finished that night, I moved on because it was like working well enough. So right now they change the scale as they move after they're created, and I think the opacity changes. So let me change the targeting here. That would be all right, let's go down. Yeah, so that's targeting just the medium enemies. Let me summon some of those guys. Then so here's what I need to do for that. I need to change that rain point on the enemies. That's how I'll do that. Your brother has a copy of the best Minecraft Bedrock pack ever, and you're modifying it to be bare bones. Actions and stuff. Nice. What's the name of the bedrock pack he has? Oh, it's called actions and stuff. Gotcha. Let's see here. So there are 2,600 items here. Is this all a part of it? No, it's not. Man, Skyblock gives me a little PTSD. Well, it's pretty amazing what the community does with Minecraft. I don't like it. I don't like the stuff they put into mainstream and then, you know, I charge you for it. But I love a lot of the community ideas. It's pretty amazing. It's such a great sandbox. All right, so yeah, let's pull up the water tower. I just need to change the enemies that are spawning on the scene here real quick. So let's go upward here, and then we'll review those water shots, actions and stuff. Pretty sure their websites have a download link of it. Yeah, I thought I did search that. Up here in the top, actions and stuff. See, it's Bedrock server. Maybe that would be no. Okay, gotcha. Just search it in general. Man, I am struggling to find it. Can you get off the CurseForge website? Yeah, because you mentioned it had some 3D stuff in there as well, right? 3D textures to the mobs. Yeah, maybe they're scouring the internet. Yeah, I'll have to check it out though. I'll pull up some videos later. It's pretty cool. All right, so what I'm going to do now is change the enemies to spawn with just one type of enemy. At least maybe two types of enemies. We'll do number 2 and number 4. Well, I guess it's going to be 2 through 4. All right, here we go. It's only going to target the medium-sized enemies. Okay, I need to actually disable that beam. That was something I put into the game to show me the targeting, but I don't want to keep that. Just the water. All right, let's run that again. Oh, you found it? All right, here we go. Okay, I disabled too much here. Let me fix this. We just want to disable this part. And then we don't need this. Or this. Let's run that one more time and then we'll be golden. The link's not appearing. Let me see. I didn't think I disabled links. That might be an automatic thing. Let me check. And there's the water beam, by the way. Yeah, I didn't tell it to block links. Yeah, I'm checking now. It should be authorized to put links into the chat. It's pretty odd. I'm really not sure what the problem there is. Sorry about that. Oh, I haven't played on this level in a while. I used to have a loot object in the game, which is what's spawning here. Your favorite shader doesn't work? What kind of shader are you working with? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me pull up Did I add a sprite? I need a piece of like parchment. I think I have one here in the game. This is a tileable sprite that I put in here. So I can expand it without scaling it. And I basically just want like a small version of this to pop up over an enemy. So let me see. I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna call it, I guess I'll call it enemy UI. And what is the default size? Let's change the default size. What would be kind of reasonable? Maybe like, I don't know what would be reasonable exactly. Let's try flipping it around. Let's say 100 by 300. Maybe 80 by 200. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, too tall for sure. Let's start with that and see how that looks. And let me just see how it looks on the screen here if I pull it up full size. Okay, so that will work. I'll definitely need to, first of all, put that on the UI layer so it's not covered in darkness in my dark tower defense game. All right, so we can see it a little bit better there. There are some other things I could do with it too. For example, add an effect. In fact, I have an effect. It's called beveled edges. Let me try adding like, let's see. To adjust the brightness a little bit. Let's try 0.8, the default, and see what that looks like. A little bit better. Maybe a little bit brighter. Let's give it a 1. What does that do? Okay, that should work, and then depending on the text we use. So let's do something. Okay, I can add the sticker behavior, destroying the object's on position. Let's add sticker behavior to it. And I think I might want well, let's just practice getting this into the scene to begin with. Because right now my enemies have a little bit of information displayed on them. Like their ID, their health, and their shield. But what I want is for all of that to be displayed in a little pop-up if you click on them. So let's try, I guess it would just be up here. Maybe under, let me search enemy backers. So if the number on the scene is greater than 0, let's go down, follow that down. I added a new sub event here. And we're gonna do a comment, and it'll be click on enemy UI pop-up. And so this will be Not clicked. This would be more like cursor or touch is on the object of the enemy. And then also if mouse button released at the same time. Then what we're going to do is create the enemy UI at the position of, and at this point we'll have to kind of take a guess. We'll do at the position of the enemy let's see, enemy backer center X, and then the Y position would be, we'll say bounding box top, and then it would have to be at least like, I'm thinking plus the UI height. Why is it saying there's not a bounding box top here? One second, let me just solve this real quick and then we'll get back to it. Enemy backers. Oops. Bounding box top plus enemy UI height. Okay, that's what I thought I did the first time. And we're going to create it on the UI layer. And then we're going to stick it to the enemy. All right. Then I think I want a scene variable. You said you remember using it every time you had a Minecraft APK before the 1.18 update. Oh, you weren't able to find it? Also, how do I pronounce your handle there? Because you said I got it wrong last time. I want to know how to pronounce. Is it not? I think I said something like Enoch. I don't want to get it wrong. Edit scene variables. Let's add enemy UI exists. We'll say Boolean, and it'll start out as a false. So in this case, we'll say if the scene variable enemy UI exists is false, and you click on an enemy, then yeah, then it'll create the UI. Although I could also just do a quick check for the number of those things on the scene. I guess it would be about the same. A couple ways we could go about this. Oh, so it's like Nick. Oh man, I'm terrible at this. I'm hopeless. Here, one sec. We got this. Okay, here is what Google is telling me. I don't know if you can hear this. Probably not.
E.
E? It's saying E.
E. E.
So it's not E or A.
E.
Yeah, I don't know if it's coming through or not. It's saying
E.
E, like me, myself, and I. Oh, try it the other way around.
Me. 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 May. May.
May. A.
May. May. A. A. A.
Like that?
A.
All right, I've got the E in the Spanish sec. All right, got it. I thought it was pronouncing it that way, but apparently I need to work on my pronunciation. Understood. All right. We're back in business now. Back in business. All right, so what we're doing is creating this little pop-up UI on the enemies whenever we click them. So I was just double checking the method I want to use to see, because we only want one at a time. So to do this, I'm going to do a check here. Let me do a sub event. And we might not need the variable. So I think first I can just check, first of all, if the number of those pop-up UIs is greater than 1. Or greater than 0, rather. Then we're going to go ahead and delete it. So if there's an old one, let's delete it. And then after that, we're going to create one at the position of the new enemy. Oh, so, and then we're going to stick it to the enemy, so it's going to track along with it. And then separately, maybe right here. If we'll check. If the mouse button is released, basically both of these events here. So let me copy both of these, paste them down here, and but if the cursor touch is not on an enemy, then also if the number of those things on the scene is greater than 0, then we'll delete it as well. Let's give this a shot. I think this will work. So what it should do is delete any of them that are on the scene. Yeah, let's just give it a shot. Moment of truth. Over here it is 7:57 p.m. Wait, we don't need this. No towers. Okay, I am absolutely not getting the result I was hoping for. Let me pause this and check my debugger. We'll see how many of those things exist. It is saying none. So let me figure out why. Oh, you're 1 hour behind? So you're basically the equivalent of mountain time. So you have a longer evening. That's kind of nice. Okay, let me disable this one down here. Maybe it's automatically deleting. Let me also put I'm going to log a message to the console just to let me know if this triggered as true or not. I'll just say yep. And let's run that. Run the debugger on the left. I'll get the message would pop up down here. So let me let all the startup messages go through and then we'll run some enemies. Here we go. All right, we got it to pop up. And it is moving around whenever I click on a new enemy. So that's pretty much what I'm going for. I'm not sure about the position. I guess that works. But what I need to do now is tell it to delete anytime I click away. That was what I was going for. And then after this, we're going to put some text on that thing. So, making progress. Let me save my current work, because GDevelop crashed on me last night, and despite saving, it saved a corrupted version. It wasn't too big of a deal, though. We're going to spawn it. I don't love the position of it, but it kind of works. It kind of works. I think I'll stick with it. And I'm wondering why it's so low, though. It's kind of weird. It should be 110 pixels above the enemy. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. We have bigger fish to fry here. So let me get the delete working for whenever we click away. It was previously deleting too many times. So it was creating it and then immediately deleting it. So hey, Quest Unplayed, welcome back. I've been enjoying your All your interviews, man, those are fire. Really been enjoying following along. And could you remind me your actual name? I know you told me the previous time, but my memory is out. Yeah, of course. How much did I lose? I didn't lose too much. I just lost a few lines of code. Nothing too bad, fortunately. Yeah, George. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, George and the Quest Unplayed have a series. They've been doing a few interviews with game devs from around the world, and it's really informative. Super valuable to all of us humble game devs out here, listening to everyone's experience. Definitely recommend anyone check out their channel. And right now, I am just trying to create and then delete an enemy UI pop-up to show us their stats. The issue at the moment is that it's deleting. It's either not deleting when I need it to, or it's deleting too soon. So I might need to just move this up. I could try that real quick, but let me see here. So if the left mouse button is released, or if the screen is tapped, because this is mobile friendly, then if the cursor or touch is not on the enemy, and the number of the UI on the scene is greater than 0, then I told it to delete. The problem is, as soon as I actually click on the enemy and release the button, it's also deleting. So let me check. Let me check this. All right, so I'm going to spawn in the enemies. And so I click on them. This is telling me the word yep, which is my fancy way of saying it did create the thing, but that also tells me it's immediately deleting it thereafter. So BTM, happy birthday. Happy birthday. September people are pretty cool. I'm a September baby myself. What progress have I made since a few days ago? Yeah, I'll show and tell. So I don't know everything I've done. It's been a minute, but Fire and Ice is pretty much where it's been. Added this background here, which is a bit snowy, and worked on the ice tower. So now it is accurately shooting an icicle at the enemies. And as a result, it will freeze them in place temporarily. And then also modified my ice enemies, which are these guys. So if they get in range of the towers, they will freeze up the towers, all except for this fire tower, which is too hot to freeze. But the fire tower cannot burn, it cannot ignite a freezing enemy because they're too cold to burn. But they can take direct flamethrower damage. So that is something that I've been working on. It's been pretty successful. Did some bug fixes, and tonight I'm working on a UI for the enemy pop-up to show us some stats. So yeah, moving right along here. And I've got a piece of parchment I made in GIMP that I'm throwing up on the screen. And it is this thingy right here. And I just need to tweak my events here so that it doesn't automatically delete the moment I create it. I just need to use a little bit of logic here. So July's not bad. At least you get the summers off until you're, a working adult. August. Man, July, August, September. Look at that. But George, the question is, are you in August before school would normally start? Or are you after, like, say, college classes begin? That's the real question. Before? Oh, so you're right in mid-August. Gotcha. Definitely not a coincidence. It is fate that we are all gathered here tonight. We're all gathered here tonight to watch me struggle putting this piece of parchment on the screen. It's a special moment. All right, let's try. I might just try moving this upward. So let me promote this. Just right there. Let's see if that has any effect on it. You got extra weeks of vacation. How'd you do that? Wait, why did I build a tower? I don't need a tower. Okay, so we got the thing to spawn. And when I click away, it disappears. We are in business. Now I just need to append the stat text to it. And we're in good shape here. I'll probably add maybe a little more visibility. It's really hard to see, which is not shocking considering this is a dark game, a dark tower defense. So let's see. We've already got the stats. So what I'm going to do is just simply create some text objects. Let me add in text. I'll call it text enemy I guess health. I have no idea what size I want yet. Let's just start with white text, very basic. And let's just try throwing that out there. I'll put a shadow on it, I guess. Maybe an outline. Let's see how small that looks. So it'd be about that size. That should work. Well, we can use that as a starting point. And then let's duplicate that a couple of times. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So, but instead of health, one will be enemy ID. And then the other one will be enemy shield. Just as a placeholder until we actually update the variables. So, in fact, we can just do something like this. All right. So what I want to do, let me make these actually, I should have added the behavior to the first one. We're going to make these sticky. So they're going to destroy when the object it's stuck on is destroyed and only follow the position. And that should be all we need in terms of behaviors. And all I'm going to do is create those at the same time I create the parchment. So I'm just going to Control C, and then Control V, Control V, Control V. And add in text, enemy ID, and then enemy health. And then shield. Oh, well, getting sick isn't the way to take vacation. Hopefully you feel better soon. There's a lot of stuff going around right now, though. I don't know what you have, but yeah, I hope you feel better. I found the shaders, SLPE. Simple little pocket edition shaders. The day we're born in. Second, I am 13. Why don't I have fancy live chat or something? That's a really good question. Honestly, it's because I haven't bothered to figure out how to do that. Yeah, this is all I got, man. That's all I got so far. Really only started streaming about 5 months ago. And I just decided I'd like to open up my game dev to the public and let people join along. And that's all I'm doing here. So I'm slowly tweaking as I go and slowly trying to increase the value I bring, but have a ways to go yet. All right, so I've added the text objects. I need to stick them all to the I guess to the enemy. So I'm going to Control C this, and then 1, 2, 3, and Control C. Lots of copy and pasting here. Those are all stuck, so they will all now travel, and now it's just a matter of placing them where I need them on the parchment. So, excuse me, I might not even position these at the enemy. Let me open this up again. I'm going to position them on the parchment itself. So this would be basically bounding box left, and then maybe like plus 5 pixels or something like that. And then for the Y coordinate, I will try the enemy UI. Bounding box top. And then this will be plus, I guess I'll do plus 5 for the first one as well. And then let's try this for all of them. And then I'll just tweak the numbers a little bit as I go. Yeah, I use OBS for my stream. I know it's got all sorts of add-ins and stuff. I could always play around with it and add more to it. George, I would love to be on your stream or on your podcast. I haven't done one for my game at all. It's pretty early on. You can let me know what your thoughts are, but I feel like maybe if I get closer to like having at least a public demo or something, you know, sort of an early access, at least reach that point, then maybe I would have a little more value to bring, because then I could talk about, you know, which platforms I'm targeting. I mean, I know I'm targeting PC and mobile, but anything in addition to that, I'm not sure yet. How do you go about your selection finding game devs, do you find only game devs who've already released on Steam, for example? I'd be honored to, though. That's my short answer. And then I'm going to add a couple numbers here. Let's try plus 40, and then maybe plus 75. Let's give this a quick test. All right, send in the enemies. All right, we've got stats. It's just a matter of making it not look goofy like that. I think they're not going to delete, though, if I click away. So I need to make them delete. But we have stats. We have progress. Yeah, when I'm free and have a demo. I mean, I'd like to have a public demo. I'm working as fast as I can. Your team's opinion is to have every aspect of the gaming industry. So, for example, we mainly talk to devs who already have their games up on Steam because it is easy for them to promote their game. Yeah, which is exactly what I think you should be doing. And like I said, I would be honored to be on your stream. And you want devs who are also working to get a game up. Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk. And I'd be happy to support you guys. And of course, that would be mutually supporting me as well. Really appreciate you offering. Publishers, game company CEOs, founders, investors, business people, and all. And even just gamers too. Yeah, that's pretty invaluable. Because like a lot of the game devs, they don't really understand the publishing side, probably myself included. And then, pretty much all the business side. I feel like a lot of gamers and then hobbyist game devs don't really understand much of the business. It's pretty foreign because we're either artists or programmers or a combination thereof. And so I think all of that is super valuable. Good YouTubers being underrated. Honestly, there's no excuse. It's just that I started streaming later than I should have. I let fear hold me back. So I started this year. I could have started earlier, but I chose not to. Yeah, a place where gamers can be on the show and talk about their story. It's freaking awesome. How did you all meet, by the way? Publishing lead from, I don't know how you pronounce that. Productions. Nice. And do you reach out to, for example, the marketing lead? Did you just find like current events in the game dev industry and reach out to them, or is it like a mutual connection? All right, for right now, I think I need to increase the size of this parchment because in order to get enough text on there and make it readable, especially if this is on mobile, it looks kind of large against the size of the enemy, but against the size of the screen, I don't think it's that ridiculous. So if I were to shrink this down and squint my eyes and pretend this is a mobile, could I read that? That's kind of a question I keep in mind. So I don't think I want to make it any smaller. So I'm going to make the parchment bigger to hold the text. Let me try 120 width and then 150 height. It's going to be big, but you can click away as soon as you're done reading it. So it just needs to work. And then as soon as you're done with it, it doesn't have to be in your face. You can click away or tap away. Let me call these guys in one more time here. That's a little bit bigger. I can maybe make the font slightly smaller, but I don't need to, because it doesn't need to say enemy ID. It just needs to say ID. That's redundant. We already know it's an enemy. And then what else would I have? There's health, shield. I could do armor. Armor is a thing in this game. So let me duplicate. Enemy armor. And then I will change the text to armor. I'll use the American English, which doesn't have the U. And apply. And then I need to create that. So create that object. Oops. All right. And then let's put that at, let's see, I was going in increments of 35, so that would be 80, 110. And then stick that as well. Maybe I should be sticking these to the parchment. Is that right? Yeah. If I stick them to the parchment, then when the parchment's deleted, it should, all the text should delete. It's a chain reaction. Let me delete this message here, and let's run one more test. And simultaneously catch up on the chat here. There we go. Oh no, the armor isn't moving. Stick right here. All right, now let's run that test. There we go. Obviously, this is placeholder art. You know, I'll tweak it later. You know, make it look a little cleaner. But there we go. It's deleting. It's moving. When it hits the target, it deletes itself. Oh, you're the Global Community Manager and Operations Director at Gamers Community Platform Minimap. Yeah, I think I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, and you also mentioned you went to a convention not too long ago. It's pretty awesome. I think you foster the community in a weird way. I think you foster a community that reflects your own attitudes. So I would agree, if you've got you seem like a healthy person to be around. So it's awesome that you have a good community supporting you. Bro, promote all you want. And this is just a small channel anyway. 100%. I think we need a lot more networking. And I feel like, I don't know if you get this, a lot of people work remotely, and I do. A lot of people don't get a lot of that interaction. So, you know, sending out those cold emails is maybe a little brave, and actually talking, even if virtually face to face, is not something that a lot of people actually do, especially in the gamers. A lot of people are more comfortable behind a keyboard, but not in front of a camera or not in front of an audience or an interviewer, for example. So it's pretty brave. Change the font, maybe? Yeah, I could absolutely change the font. This is placeholder. Let me see if I could do that real quick. Yeah, the Game Festival in Korea. How did that go? Did you do any... You mentioned you might have some recordings from it. Were any of your interviews part of that? Were they a result of that festival? Let's see what we have for fonts here. It wasn't something I was really... I can make it italic. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't played with fonts in this game engine yet. I haven't even needed that yet. So I could definitely make them italic. I'll need to find like a nice fancy font that's not generic. But I think these are all, let me see, Charm Regular is probably generic as well. So that is the health one. Let's see what the health looks like. And then let's see what the shield one looks like if I make that... Was that Architect's Daughter? What kind of font name is that? Let's run that quick test here. So what I'm trying to live by and trying to hold myself accountable to is not polishing too early. So that's why I'm not picking a font yet, but we can see what these look like. So the health looks a little bit more fancy. The shield looks maybe a little more light-hearted, whereas the ID and the armor look really, generic. The health looks maybe closer to what we would want. I would just, again, need to make sure that it's legible if it were smaller, like on a mobile. And those serif fonts can get pretty tricky when they're small. I'm working on a really big monitor, so I have to intentionally shrink it way down and pretend it's a mobile. So, but definitely picking a good font, I believe in. Get that game feel going. Okay, so that's where you found the production people. Gotcha. Coming as a guest in October. That is awesome. Y'all are getting it huge. That is awesome. Anik, which font do you want? You recommended a new font, so until I change it permanently, do you want... Hold on, let it load. Do you want the top, the number 1, number 2, or number 3? The ID, the health, or the shield? Oh, you made your own font recently? That's pretty cool. Yeah, your interviews are all up on the Quest Unplayed, right? Or are you talking about the not Quest Unplayed channel? You want the shield one for now. Okay. I will do that until I come up with a permanent font. Oh, another channel. Gotcha. See, which one did I put on the shield? That was the Architect's Daughter. I need to know the story behind that one. So, all right, we've got those. That is pretty successful. I might add... Let me add a little something to that parchment. not the text. So I've already increased the brightness. Let me try, I don't know if a glow would be proper. I could do a drop shadow. But most of the scenes are going to be dark, especially if you're low on resources or dying. So let's try a glow. And I'll make it kind of a warm, maybe a warm orange, orangey color. And maybe just an outer strength of 1. And let's give that a shot. Let's see what that looks like here. All right, so now we've got a little bit of a border there. Looks like we're still out of room for the text, and I'm going to have quite a bit more text to add in there eventually. So next what I need to do, though, I can make that just slightly larger. So the width would need to be maybe like 135. That's fine. And then 160. What I need to do, though, is actually change the values to actually show the true variables. So let's do that. And we can do that right here where they're created. So what we'll do is we will change the text. So that would be text enemy. Let's start with the ID. The text would be set to, let me see, it would be toString, because I'm going to bring in a number. And the number will be the ID of the enemy. Right there. Okay. Let's do that right here. Yeah, actually, that's fine right there. Next, let's change the health. And again, that's going to be the same exact kind of format. That will be health. Let me see. Do I need health, health, or just health? I'm going to go with this one. And then what? Shield. Shield. Shield points. And these actually need to be text enemy health. The childhood game you mentioned 2 streams ago. Yeah, what about it? I don't remember the name, I'll be honest, but it's in my stream. The Lightning McQueen game. Was that what got you going on the Minecraft mod that you're working on? Where you changed the Minecraft boat to Lightning McQueen, which I think is hilarious. And armor. All right, let's see if these are actually showing the points. See, it doesn't even want me to use armor. Let me check something here. That would be... Why does it not think that exists? All right, let me look at the enemy here. Pull that up. Behaviors. So we have... I know the armor is 0, but it does exist, so I'm wondering how to call that. Let me check this out. Enemy backer. I think it would be health. Capital health. It's not showing up under that though. I might need to do a quick search here. When in doubt, go to the documentation. Yeah, I tweaked the chat after you mentioned it the other time, so my videos are only going to save as 720p, but because of that, instead of a 16-second delay, it's going to be a 10-second delay, so makes it a little bit easier. The game is a Flash game, which means it's 2D. You've wanted to make it in 3D for a long time. So far, the only progress is the LMQ model. You still haven't finished. Man, I wish Flash games were still a thing. One of my favorite tower defense games was in Flash, but Gemcraft, they got that on Steam. But yeah, you've wanted to make it in 3D for a long time. Well, keep working at it, little by little. Just chip away at the project. Yeah, join the Discord channel. You have a bunch of game devs. Absolutely. I'll do that. Let me do that right now. Gotta love the memes. Gotta love them. What's the name? Is it Quest Unplayed? And I'm trying to find armor here. So that would be called through health points and damage, armor. Return the flat damage reduction from the armor. So I guess armor is a... I wonder why you can't display it. It doesn't have an expression here. Max shield, I got. Percent damage reduction. I guess that's really what I'm looking for. So, return the percent damage reduction from the armor, which I guess is okay. I was hoping for just the armor number, but we can do that. So, it's the percent reduction. So, if the armor is 1... that would be, what, 100%? Compare the percent damage reduction from armor from 0 to 1. Or is it saying 0% to 1%? Let's try that. So that would be... oh, crap, what's it called? Percent. There we go. Let's display that number. And so ID, health, shield. Let's test and see if we have actual variables here. So the IDs should increment from 1, 2, 3, and so on. That's how we'll know that those are working. The health, I think, is incremental by wave. And I also need to round that because it's showing a large floating point. So that is showing ID 0, ID 1. Let me see, it's kind of hard to tell, they're so close together. 0. Some of these are not quite where I want them, but some of them are working fine. So not too bad. Only a few bugs. Yeah, sorry, my links aren't working. Even though I did not enable link disabling. So it's minimap. Minimap ENG. Yeah, the link didn't come through. There's a problem with my chat. I don't know how to enable that. Is it on your YouTube? Do you have like a link tree or something like that, George? And yes, time flies really fast. That's why I struggle to get these games done, because I start working and then the day's already over. Let's see, I was just working on updating. Let me make this easier on myself. And I have these enemies spawning really quickly. Let me space them out so I can properly click on them one by one and debug this. So global variable. Actually, it might be a scene variable. Yeah, I tried tweaking the settings. Like, the setting is already where it needs to be. So if I go, where is it? So if I show you this, the block links is not enabled. You should be able to send them through the chat. Oh, see if that lets you send the link through. Minimap Gaming. So, is this how you spell it? Because I'm not getting any results for minimap ENG. Is it case sensitive? Or does it require an invite? Nothing like technology to make us all feel foolish, huh? Okay, I was looking for enemy spawn rate, I think it's called. Spawn delay. So it's every quarter of a second these enemies are spawning. Let me space that out to like 3 seconds so I can more clearly distinguish between them and click on them. So here we go. Okay, that did not... I think I'm actually setting the global variable up here. So let me change that. Spawn rate Oh, there it is, right there. So let's set that to 3 and then try again. Yeah, George, is this correct right here? Minimap ENG? Or if you have it on one of your YouTube pages, if it's on your Minimap Gaming YouTube, we can just use that link. Yeah, it's probably an issue on my end then. All right, now I should be able to click these guys. So this should be ID 0. It's not updating the IDs correctly. That guy is a 1. Let me try linking these guys. Sweet, it's on your page. I will go and fetch it from the YouTube. That's perfect. All right, so I'm thinking that maybe what it's doing is it should be referencing this, whichever enemy is selected by the cursor being on the enemy. It should be referencing that one, but I'm not convinced that it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try linking them. It really shouldn't make a difference. This might be extra work, but let me just try it at least with the ID. So I'm going to try linking them. So create the object. Let's do link the text with the enemy backer. And then down below, I will say, we add an event here. We'll take into account the text for the enemy ID if they are linked to the enemy. And then we will change the ID to the enemy ID. Let's see if this works. "24 does not seem right. ID 24. "24, I think, is just the placeholder text I put in there. Let me just not put anything there. Apply. Let me take away all these numbers that are not real. And let's see which ones are giving us numbers now versus those that are not. One other thing we can do. So we're changing the text So we need to actually change. I want to add like health in front of each of these, like the word health. So I need to do it like this. And then similarly down here, this would be shield plus the other thing. Add my quotations. And then for armor. Okay, one of these days I'll finish typing that out. And then for ID, finally, we need quotation, ID, space, quotation, plus. Boom. Now let's see what we get. Now it's a little easier to read. It's a little janky still. So nothing for ID. Health is showing 20, 2, 2. Those are valid because the red numbers, I don't know if you can see this. The red numbers are currently showing the health on top of the enemy. So on the pop-up parchment, it should match that. So the red 2 means 2 for the health. That's valid. It's not giving us an ID. These enemies with 20, we're getting 20 health. That's valid. Shield is misspelled, I'm just now realizing. Shield. And we need a space after the word health to make that a little more legible. Okay. So we're not getting the ID value. That is very odd. Now I'm wondering if I've actually assigned the ID to the enemies. I'm gonna have to debug this with the actual console. Every enemy should have an ID. All right, so we've got 3, 4, and 5 enemies. So pause that. So we've got 3 of those blue guys and 2 black guys. So if I refresh this over here on the left, we have three ice enemies. And let's look at their ID variable. So the first one should have an ID value of 4. Should be this guy right here. All right, have a good night. So this should be 4, but we're getting nothing. I don't know why it's 4 anyway. They're all showing us 4. So that seems to be a bug. It might not even be related to my parchment. It might be related to the way I'm creating the enemy. The other two, these dark enemies, are showing an ID of 2 and 2. So it seems like my ID system in general is kind of broken. Let's go up to where they're created. Right here. So when those black ones are created, we're creating the objects here. And am I setting the ID? Change the variable enemy ID to enemy ID count. And then somewhere I'm supposed to change the variable ID count itself. I think that's down below. Okay, let me try running that again and see what that variable, the variable enemy ID count, shows up as. We're gonna get this. Scene variables. Okay, it does not let me move that over. Let's find it over here. This would be we're getting to it. Enemy ID count. Is it a global? Shouldn't be. As a general rule of thumb, you don't want too many global variables if you don't need. Okay, it's at the top. So it's at 0. So every enemy that spawns, it should just add 1 to that number. So let's check this out. So spawn 1, pause, refresh. It's already at 4. But I set the spawn rate to 1 every 3 seconds, so I seriously doubt it already spawned 4 enemies. So let me run this again and pause again, refresh. It's at 3. So that is really messed up. And pause again. Still at 3. Pause again. It's going down. Enemy spawn count. Is that really what I set the text objects to? Change. Oh, where am I? Change the enemy ID. Oh, it's ID count, not spawn count. Let's check that out then. I'm losing my mind. There's still something wrong, but that was not the issue. Scene variable, enemy spawn count. Don't need that. Don't need wave array. Enemy ID count. So this one is a scene variable, enemy ID count. Having trouble finding the minimap YouTube page. Yeah, time is flying. Time is flying, my friend. Making progress, but losing daylight for sure. Okay, so I'm looking for my scene variable. Enemy spawn count. Where is my ID? Enemy ID count is right there. It's a number and it's set to 0. Why am I having trouble finding it in my debugger? Go to my scene variables. So this is a really weird situation. I can't seem to find the variable here. It's in alphabetical order, so it should be at the top. Oh, here it is. Why is it down here? So, all right, let's check out the enemy ID count here. So right now it's at 0. Refresh. So that is at... It's still at 0. Pause. Refresh. It's still at 0. So it's not updating. I don't know why the text here isn't displaying the number 0, but it's not showing any. But it's definitely not updating, so that is part of the problem. All right, is this you, George? Minimap.net. All right, we finally found it. I'm going to bookmark this right now. Finally. So anyone watching, this is what we've been trying to get to. So there's the Discord. There we have it, people. See, we're solving bugs left and right tonight. Yep, the Discord link is right there. All right, I need to increment this variable. So I think down here at the bottom, I just need to say let me add an event here below and promote that. One should just be to change the value of that variable. If I can even type it. So enemy ID count, it should just be plus equals 1. Let's see if that does the trick. You have to click on see more. So if you're trying to get to the Discord, you click on see more, and then there's the link. Perfect. Boom. Then you can set yourself up. It's perfect. All right, let's check out these guys. They should have ID. So still not updating on the parchment. Let me check the console over here. Refresh, and the scene variables. Now I know that it's way down here because it's not all in alphabetical order. Can't click two things and have those selected. Enemy ID. All right, so the ID count is at 4. How many enemies do we actually have? We have we have 2 of the medium enemies, and we have one of these large guys. Where is it showing that? One right here. So at least 3. So at least 3, so the ID count is at 4. If I unpause this, we should have a total of 5 enemies. So it should have incremented 5 times. So right there, boom, refresh. Enemy ID count is at 6. Let me see what the individual enemies' IDs are. In the Discord, you can't click two things and have them selected. Oh, in terms of like content creator and such. I guess I want you to pick a particular role. All right, let me check out the individual enemies' IDs. Just a little bug here with the variable. Once I get that working, it will update on the parchment. But we've really accomplished the goal of the night, which was to get that little UI pop-up. So, all right, here we go. Enemy ID of the first guy is 1. And then we've got a 3, a 4, and a 5. And I think that's because that slow guy there must be number 2. So 1, 3, 4, 5. There is one other thing here. I'm not sure that I'm changing the variable of the enemy itself. Let me check my enemies group. Variables. They do have an ID. They have mixed values. So why do I not have that? Let me go ahead and set that as well for the enemies. Don't think that's going to be the problem solver here, but let's go with... Now my ID should be starting at 0, so the first enemy's ID should be 0, but it looked like it came in at 1. Yes, should be 0, assign it to the first enemy, and then after that it should increment down below here. Change the variable enemy ID count plus equals 1. Let me make sure that's the parent of the right, or a child of the right parent condition. I think... that is going up here, it goes up. So I could move that up. It doesn't have to be below. We could set the first enemy ID to 1. Let me remove this sub-event here. Let me go upward. So right here where we spawn the enemy, or at least get ready to, we'll change the variable ID enemy ID count plus equals 1. And let's see if our very first enemy spawned has an ID of 1. If not, then there's something else wrong. Not the most thrilling part of game dev, but it's the way it goes sometimes. Alright, so this guy right here, it looks like it's a 1, that little green number. And let me also pull up the scene variable on the left. All right, here we go. Enemy ID count, it's already at 3, so that means we should have 3 enemies spawned. This guy right here, still not showing an ID there. So that is probably because I just didn't update that enemy to show its ID, but I'm willing to guess, and I'm hoping, that this updated to 4. It's 5 now. All right, so we have 5 enemies on the scene. And the enemy ID count is at 7. Okay, that's still pretty messed up. All right, let me do a control find and see how many times I'm calling this variable. So I'm calling it here. And then I call it here where I change. Okay, so I am changing it multiple times. Let me take it out of this individual part. And then, where else am I calling that? Enemy ID count. Oops, I cannot type. And that would be so 2 occurrences right there. That's fine. It's not modifying the variable. And then right here it is modifying. Let's remove that. That is part of the explanation for why it's updating too much. So we only want it to update right here. Then down below, it's changing the variable enemy ID of the backer. So for each of these, we really want to update the enemy ID of both. So let me go out here. I'm going to change a naming convention that I have. So for these guys, I have it called enemy ID. I just want to call it ID. That's a little redundant otherwise. And then here I'll change that. So now I've got changing the variable ID of both the backer and then of the enemies themselves, which is the visible portion of the enemy. So that's what I want. So I need to, oops, do not want to completely remove. I want to control C that, not control exit. And then down below, I'm going to delete and then paste. Okay, and same thing down below, change the variables. Now normally I would consolidate all of these into like a single external event or something, but for now I'm just trying to mock this up and see if it works, and then I'll clean it up later. But obviously the cleaner is written, the fewer bugs you'll have. Then let's paste it in here and here. Something like that. So let's see how this works now. I shouldn't be updating too many times. And if I scroll down to the enemy ID count, right here. So it's currently 0. Let's spawn the enemies. So there's 1. ID count is 1. I see 2. And it's at 2. That's proper. Still not getting it on the parchment, but we'll get that in a minute. Let's see, 3 enemies. ID's 3. It's incrementing correctly now, so let's let these continue to spawn. 4, that's looking good. Still at 4, and then finally 5, and that's it. So success on the actual variable update. Now let's see if, let me double check the enemies themselves. Make sure that their IDs are actually correct, because they're not showing me on the parchment. So I'll have to look over here on the inspector. All right, so we have wait, did one of these die? Oh, that might be why. One of them already died, so I cannot see its variable. But this guy right here seems to be ID number 5, which makes sense because he was probably the last, and then he zipped past those guys. That guy should be number 1. And that one is that one is over here somewhere. We have 3 of these ice clouds. 3 enemy ice. So we've got an ID of 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. Which is odd because This guy is also 5. All right. Still a little bit off. So what else can we do here? Running close to the end of time here, fellas. But what I can do is next time I come in, I will hopefully have solved that little bug. And then we'll have all of our stats popping up on that little piece of parchment. It's nothing groundbreaking for the viewers, I'm sure. But it's a nice little addition to the game, and something I've been wanting to put in for a while. So now we can successfully see various stats on the enemies. And so instead of marking it all directly on there like you see there, which is really kind of hard to see, and it clutters up the scene, now we have a clickable, destroyable piece of parchment. And I can add more stuff on there later as needed, and play with the opacity. Maybe even put a little slider in there so that the player can make it more transparent, that kind of thing. And of course it's scalable, so I can stretch it out as I need to without losing quality. And then what else? Next, I need to add in some more towers. I need to do the blood tower. You finished posting the memes in the Discord thing. Or did you post those in the Discord? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, I need to re-enable my Arcane tower as well. Let's take a look at that real quick here. Right here. See if we get our Arcane tower working again. So that should be its radius. As soon as those enemies step in that bubble, it should start firing. Looks a little funny. Why does it look like that? It's not supposed to look quite that weird. Let me disable this radius circle. Maybe it got changed to a different setting in the particle emitter. It's always doing things without my permission. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, so it's creating a light. It's creating 2 lights. It's creating the particle arcane shot. And it's sticking this particle emitter to to the bullet. Let me move this upward. I didn't think there was a problem here, but of course you go look at something and there is. So what's happening is it's firing the bullet. Then I'm creating a particle emitter and sticking that onto it. And then, so it might be a Z order issue. It just looks really funny. It's like it's creating too many. Let me also come over here and look at the emitter itself. It would be here. So we have, oh, what was it named? Particle Arcane Shot. Right here. So here it is. I thought maybe it had additive rendering, but it does not. All right, let's see if moving that event around changed anything at all. So it shouldn't look that cloudy. It should look more a little different. Yeah, good luck with your Minecraft textures. I'm about to hop off for the evening, so I'll catch you again next time around. I'm going to put some scheduled streams up, but Thursday night is what I'm aiming for my regular kind of stream night. So same time every Thursday, unless there's something weird going on. But I'll stream again this weekend and stuff. But thanks for hopping on, and good luck with your Minecraft textures. Let's see, I'm just trying to tweak this. Maybe that is how I intentionally left it. Because it has this, yeah, you're welcome. This weird dark magic smoke. Particles Arcane Hit. So, I don't know. Maybe I did change it to this intentionally. I just don't remember. It's been a minute since I worked on my Arcane Tower. It looks too thick to me, though. Oh, these guys are freezing my Arcane Tower. They're too effective. See, that shot there was different. So there is something going on here, because that one only has one particle emitter, and it's these little dots, whereas the other ones are more cloudy. It became cloudy there at the end. So maybe it's because... Oh, I know. I think what's happening is it's... When they impact on the enemy, it becomes cloudy. I think that's what's going on here. So if I place this guy here, Arcane... Although it sure looked like it came out already cloudy. I don't know. Don't even know my own game anymore, but it's kind of pretty at least. So when I come back, I do need to work on my the blood tower. So if I pull up my fancy spreadsheet, towers, I have every other tower. Every other tower has some kind of an effect, but that elusive blood tower does not. And I might even rename it to more of like a something else, maybe an unholy tower, to contrast with the holy tower, something like that. Anyway, it's going to sacrifice resources for basically really high damage, and it might have some life steal, something like that. So Fellas, that is it for tonight. So thank you so much for hopping on and keeping me company. And George, look forward to talking to you as well in the future. And until next time, hope you all have a good evening. And I'll catch you later. Let's see. I'll probably be streaming again this weekend for sure. I got to make some progress here. For the water tower, there would be 2 splashes. One when the water touches the enemy, and one when the droplets hit the ground. Very good call. And those are all polish that I'm absolutely going to be adding into the game in the near future. So I got to get the basic foundation working and functional, and then I'm going to go in and add, just like you said. So I appreciate it, George. And till next time, you both have a great evening. And whatever your endeavors are, I hope you have fewer bugs than I do. So thanks again. Catch you later.